The call came at 2:41 a.m. By 2:43, Daniel Harper's life had been split cleanly in two, before and after. The doctor's voice on the other end was flat, mechanical. "We did everything we could," he said. "I'm sorry." His wife, Emily, 36 years old, mother of their two children, was gone. A brain aneurysm, sudden, silent, merciless. By sunrise, Daniel was sitting on the edge of their bed, still in the jeans he'd worn to the hospital, staring at the imprint of her head on the pillow. There was a pink hair tie on the nightstand. Her perfume still lingered in the air. On the dresser lay an unpaid electric bill, a half-folded basket of laundry, and a list of groceries she'd written the night before. Milk, cereal, bread, apples, normal life, interrupted mid-sentence. The life before. Before that night, Daniel's world was ordinary, in the way most happiness is. Quiet, unremarkable, taken for granted. He worked as a maintenance technician for a property management company in Lexington, Kentucky. The pay wasn't great, but the hours were steady, and he was proud of that stability. Emily stayed home with the kids, Ethan 10 and Lily 7. They lived in a modest two-bedroom house on the east side of town, where the rent was manageable and the backyard was just big enough for a swing set. Friday nights were pizza and movies. Saturday mornings were soccer games and grocery runs. They weren't rich, but they were okay. Sometimes Daniel would lie in bed at night and think, "We're getting by, maybe that's enough." They'd talked about getting life insurance, but never got around to it. There was always something else. Braces, car repairs, school clothes. It felt like there would always be time. Until there wasn't. The night everything changed. The aneurysm struck without warning. One moment, Emily was laughing at a show on the couch. The next, she was collapsing, eyes unfocused, body limp. Daniel had called 911 with shaking hands, shouting her name, trying to remember how to breathe. The drive to the hospital was a blur of red lights and white headlights. The waiting room was cold, humming with fluorescent light and vending machines. When the doctor came out, Daniel already knew. He didn't hear most of the words. Rupture, no oxygen, too much pressure. He only heard the one that mattered. Gone. And just like that, every plan they'd made, the next vacation, the Christmas photos, Lily's ballet recital, turned into ashes. The financial crater. The funeral cost $9,200. The medical bills from that single night came to $27,000. The rent was $1,180 a month. His checking account held $643. There was no life insurance, no savings beyond a few $100s tucked in a kitchen drawer. He tried to keep the kids' lives steady, cereal for breakfast, lunch packed for school, bedtime stories, but the cracks spread fast. The credit card balance climbed to $3,400 by the end of the month. The car needed new tires. The landlord mentioned a rent increase coming in spring. Daniel had never been late on a bill before, but now envelopes piled up unopened on the kitchen counter, their red past due stamps like silent accusations. He'd sit at the table at night, staring at numbers that didn't add up. He earned $3,200 a month after taxes. Expenses were $4,500. The math didn't work. The math never worked. The emotional crater at night. He could hear Lily whisper in her sleep, "Mommy?" Ethan stopped talking about school. The house felt too quiet and too loud at the same time. The hum of the refrigerator, the tick of the clock, the echo of her laughter that wasn't there anymore. Daniel stopped eating properly. Some nights, dinner was a slice of bread and cold coffee. He'd go to work exhausted, hands trembling, head full of fog. He'd stand in front of the mirror some mornings and barely recognize the man looking back. There was a heaviness in his chest that no amount of sleep could fix. People meant well. They said, "She's in a better place," or "You'll get through this." But none of them saw the stack of bills, or the empty chair at the table, or the way his daughter clung to her mother's old sweater at night. One evening, after the kids had gone to bed, Daniel opened the kitchen drawer and found Emily's handwriting on a sticky note. It said, "Don't forget to pay the electric bill." He laughed, then cried so hard his whole body shook. The promise. 2 months after the funeral, he hit the lowest point. The car was 2 payments behind. The landlord had posted a notice on the door. Ethan came home from school with a note, overdue lunch balance, $18.75. That night, Daniel sat on the living room floor surrounded by bills and made a promise, not out loud, but deep inside where words turn into vows. He promised Emily he would not fail their kids. He promised Ethan and Lily that this wouldn't be the story they grew up remembering. Not the fear, not the debt, not the loss. He didn't know how he'd do it. He only knew he had to. This is the story of Daniel Harper from Lexington, Kentucky, of the debt that almost broke him, the grief that nearly swallowed him, and the 2 small faces that gave him a reason to fight back. What he built from that pain would not only rebuild their lives, it would transform who he was. The first eviction notice came on a Tuesday, a thin white envelope taped to the front door, folded at the corner by the wind. He stood there staring at it, his toolbox still in hand, work gloves stiff with oil. His heart sank. He didn't even open it. He didn't have to. He already knew what it said. Inside, Ethan was doing homework at the kitchen table, and Lily was coloring on the floor with a broken crayon. He forced a smile and said, "Pizza night tonight, huh?" But his voice cracked halfway through. Slipping through the cracks. The next weeks blurred together. He sold the TV, then the lawnmower, then Emily's old car. Still, the bills didn't stop. He tried picking up extra shifts, but his company had cut hours. Budget issues, his boss said. He applied for a second job at a warehouse working nights. That meant sleeping maybe 4 hours a day, if he was lucky. Every time he left for work, Lily would stand by the door in her pajamas, holding her stuffed rabbit, whispering, "Don't go too long, Daddy." Some nights, he'd cry in the truck before clocking in, then wipe his face, put on his gloves, and get to work. The bottom. By winter, the heater broke. The house was cold, the windows frosted over. Daniel covered them with towels to keep the drafts out. He could feel himself breaking, not just physically, but deep down. He'd lost weight. He stopped talking to friends. The world had shrunk to 3 things: work, bills, and keeping his kids safe. One Friday, Ethan asked if they could still buy Christmas lights that year. Daniel didn't answer. He just nodded, then went to the bathroom and stared at the mirror again. There were dark circles under his eyes, a man hollowed out by responsibility. That night, after the kids were asleep, he sat at the kitchen table with his laptop. He typed into Google, "How to make extra money from home." The turning point. He clicked on an article about side hustles, delivering food, selling stuff online, taking surveys. He tried them all. None worked. Then one night he found a video, a man talking about budgeting, debt snowball, and financial freedom. The man spoke simply, but there was something powerful in his voice. Daniel watched the whole thing, then another, then another. He started writing numbers down on paper, his income, his expenses, his debts. For the first time in months, he didn't feel helpless. He felt angry, angry at how little he'd known about money, angry that he'd let things spiral. And beneath the anger, there was something else: resolve. The first small win. He sold his truck, bought a used car half the price, used the difference to pay off one credit card completely. It wasn't much, but it was something. He made a chart for Ethan and Lily, Dad's debt tracker, with a line that went down each month. They colored it in together with crayons. Every dollar became a victory, every sacrifice a story. Daniel started cooking at home instead of eating out. He learned to fix broken appliances and sell them online. He read books on personal finance during lunch breaks. He even started tracking every penny in a notebook Emily had once used for recipes. He was still exhausted, still grieving, but now the exhaustion had a direction. The moment of rebuilding. By spring, something shifted. He wasn't just surviving anymore. He was building. He'd managed to pay down almost half his debt. He started talking about money with other workers at the maintenance company. Some of them asked him for help with budgeting. He didn't think of it as teaching, just sharing what he'd learned out of necessity. But it lit something inside him. For the first time since Emily's death, he felt useful again, not just as a father or a worker, but as a man rebuilding from nothing. That summer, he took Ethan and Lily to the park, the same park where Emily used to take them on weekends. They sat on the swings as the sun went down. Ethan looked up and said, "Mom would be proud of you, Dad." Daniel didn't answer. He couldn't. He just nodded, tears catching the light of the setting sun. He'd kept his promise, not fully yet, but enough to know he was on the right path. What happened next would not only change his family's future, it would inspire thousands of others who heard his story. The first real sign of change came quietly. No applause, no grand moment, just a letter, a statement from the bank. Balance paid in full. It was the smallest credit card he'd had, barely $800. But as he held that piece of paper, Daniel realized it was more than a number. It was proof. Proof that he could climb out of the hole, one step at a time. Rebuilding the foundation. He made a rule: every dollar must have a job. No more blind spending, no more maybe later. He used envelopes for groceries, gas, bills. He started cooking every meal: beans, rice, chicken, pasta, cheap but filling. He took pride in stretching a single dollar farther than he ever thought possible. He began teaching Ethan and Lily little lessons. Money is a tool, he said, not a master. They started saving coins in a jar labeled Dream Fund. Every week they'd add a few cents. One night Ethan asked, "What are we saving for?" Daniel smiled. "For the life Mom wanted us to have." At work, he kept talking about the system that had saved him, the budgeting, the discipline, the mindset. Co-workers began to listen. One asked him to explain how he tracked expenses. Another asked for help creating a plan to pay off credit card debt. Soon, Daniel was staying late after work, sketching budgets on scrap paper, showing people how to make the numbers work. He realized something: helping others was healing him. He wasn't just fixing broken air conditioners anymore, he was fixing lives. Each success story from his co-workers became fuel. He started recording short videos on his phone, simple tips, stories, what worked and what didn't. He uploaded them to YouTube under the name The Everyday Comeback. The first few videos got almost no views, but he kept posting. One video every week. The breakthrough. Then one night, a message popped up on his channel. "I just watched your story. I was about to give up on everything, but now I won't, thank you." Daniel stared at the screen for a long time. He realized that what he'd built from pain was now giving others hope, and that was worth more than money. By the end of the year, his channel had 50,000 subscribers. Sponsors reached out. He was making more from sharing his journey than from his day job. He didn't quit right away. He didn't want to move too fast again, but he finally had options. He could breathe. The promise kept 3 years after Emily's death. Daniel stood in front of a small brick house, the first home he'd ever owned. Ethan and Lily ran through the empty rooms, their laughter echoing off the walls. In his hands, Daniel held the keys. He whispered, "We did it, Em." On the wall near the kitchen, he hung a framed photo. Emily smiling in the sunlight, hair windblown, eyes bright. Below it, he placed a whiteboard that read, "Harper Family Financial Freedom, paid in full." He wasn't rich, he wasn't famous, but he was free. And for a man who had once lost everything, freedom was the greatest wealth of all. The legacy. Today, Daniel Harper's story is one shared across the internet. His videos have reached millions. People who saw themselves in his struggle, his grief, his rebuilding. He still lives in Lexington. He still makes dinner for Ethan and Lily every night. He still keeps that first balance paid in full letter taped to his fridge, a reminder that no pain, no loss, no debt is final. When asked what kept him going, he always gives the same answer. I made a promise, and promises mean something. Pain doesn't disappear when you rebuild your life. It becomes the foundation beneath it. Daniel Harper didn't just rise from tragedy. He built something unbreakable from it. And maybe, somewhere inside your own struggle, there's a promise waiting to be kept too. If Daniel's story inspired you, share this video with someone who needs to believe that a comeback is still possible. Because no matter how deep the fall, the rise is always within reach.